Alright, welcome ladies and gents. Movie which I'm personally really looking forward to. Great to finally get a little bit more information about it. But it is Frankenstein. This is Del Toro's Frankenstein. And it looks great. It looks really, 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 really good. This is with Jacob Elordi, Oscar Isaacs, and others. But I'm very, very excited for this. So this is a big piece of Vanity Fair. In fact, we can literally see Frankenstein's monster here. I love this. This looks like a... it looks like a figure, doesn't it? It looks like it could be a figure. You know, like a figurine. It just looks mad. It reminds me... it's almost like a throwback to, like... I don't know, like Hellraiser, The Crow, that sort of rich, gothic aesthetic. I think it's brilliant. I think, aesthetic-wise, I'm sold. I'm genuinely sold. And I really like Del Toro's movies. I don't know how you can sort of like horror and not like Del Toro's movies. So let's dive into this today. Please do hit that subscribe button and turn the bell notifications on. But this is described as an operatic monster movie steeped in faith, fear, and fatherhood, which is kind of what you want in a Frankenstein movie. I think that's great. And this is sort of discussion with Elordi, Oscar Isaacs, and also Del Toro. So, like I said, let's take a look. This is a Vanity Fair piece. And as it says here, the naked dead man lies face down just inside the doorway. Livers, hearts, stomachs, and other vital organs are stacked on shelves further down the corridor. So this is obviously a set visit. Severed limbs are heaped on a concrete floor. The grim props are breadcrumbs leading to the interior of a vast soundstage where a bearded man sits smiling behind a bank of monitors. Del Toro. Amid the death and decay, Del Toro is making the movie of a lifetime. He has yearned to put his own stamp on Frankenstein for as long as he has been making films. But there was a moment when he feared his time would run out first. So he said this, quote, "I've been doing movies for 30 years. I'm not going to be alive for 30 more years, I don't think," says Del Toro, who's now 60, so fair enough. Frankenstein is his bucket list film, a passion project that struggled to find a patron. Everybody said no, Del Toro says, shaking his head. It's a pattern that has persisted throughout his career. Generate an epic, offbeat idea that's resoundingly rejected by Hollywood. Then wait a few years. Finally, a risk-taking executive will say yes. And then it's massively successful. That's the recipe that happens with Del Toro. So the results speak for themselves. Pan's Labyrinth. Brilliant movie. Absolutely fantastic movie. Love Pan's Labyrinth. Del Toro won Best Director and Best Picture for The Shape of Water, which is his shocking and romantic take on The Creature from the Black Lagoon. More recently, he collected Best Animated Feature for Pinocchio. So, this is just what he does. But Netflix have finally greenlit it, and it's his operatic spin on Mary Shelley's 1818 novel. The finished movie will debut on the streaming service Netflix in November. And look at this, man. Look at it. Like, it's truly incredible what they've done. Just an epic. I say soundstage. Some of this was shot on location, so they built out the locations with additional sets. So this, I think, was one of them. Perhaps. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Medusa. Sort of fresco on the wall there. Looks incredible. Yeah, lovely. And you know what I think is so impressive about this? Like how dirty and disgusting it is. That's what you want in a movie like this. It has to be like this. Otherwise it's not. Where's the authenticity? So on the morning Vanity Fair visited its Toronto set, Frankenstein was literally coming to life. Del Toro was directing Oscar Isaac in the montage sequence where his obsessed scientist pieces together the body of his monster. Dr. Victor Frankenstein's laboratory resides within the ornate cistern of an 18th century water tower. You see? So they did actually. So they built this. They did build some of this somewhere. But yeah, so it's a Carpathian mountain range. The 360-degree set built by production designer Tamara Deverell combines science fiction with ancient mythology. So 4 immense columns of green corrugated glass reach upward toward the chamber's stone arches. I mean, it's mad. I think it's really impressive. Glowing hellfire red when fully charged by the elegantly sculpted silver works that are meant to draw electricity from storm clouds above. Against the back wall, stone sculpture of Medusa that once flooded this town with water now gazes down in blank-eyed horror at the abominations the not-so-good doctor is perpetrating. I am an archaeologist that creates his own ruins, Del Toro says. Love it. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they didn't shoot anywhere on location. I could have sworn I read somewhere that they did, but never mind. This is great. So as Isaac gets to work making the body that Del Toro describes as a quilt, the director urges him not to be delicate. Bone surgery is a lot like carpentry. They call it traumatology because it causes such trauma. Somebody coming in with a box of tools. Isaac, clad in red gloves and a billowing stained shirt open to the navels, likes that. He smiles behind sweaty hair that dangles down over his face. I think instead of calling myself an actor, I'm going to introduce myself as a traumatologist. Wow. Wow. Genuinely wow. You can see the sort of Lovecraftian, Clive Barker shades coming through, very goth. I mean, it's disgusting, but that's what it's supposed to be. This is brilliant. What a prop, what a set, wow. So Isaac plays the ethically challenged scientist as part of a surgeon, part mechanic. Grab the screwdriver, Del Toro tells the actor, as Dr. Frankenstein fastens a lower leg onto a knee joint. You can pretend that there's a screw. Brilliant. This leads to an urgent question on set medical advisor Dr. Peter Coplin. When was the screwdriver invented? He asked the director in Screw. Is that an anachronism? This part of Frankenstein takes place in the early 1850s, and the retired physician's quick research absolves the moment of any crimes against history. No, it isn't. Coplin explains. Apparently, it's in a workbook from the 15th century. So, Jacob Elordi plays the reanimated creature, whose look remains under wraps, literally, in this exclusive preview. When fully exposed, the creature resembles a marble statue from antiquity that has been shattered and fused back together. Isaac's gruesome assembly sequence results in rare time off for the Euphoria and Saltburn heartthrob. I think that's the one day I didn't shoot. Instead, Isaac co-stars are the morbid look-alike props that surround the set. Each has an identity of its own. This is Yorick, Del Toro says, pointing at a peeled skull with a beard, named after the Hamlet's deceased jester, a flayed cadaver that Isaac sets to work on, and another shoot was nicknamed Canadian Bacon. Brilliant. Pull the skin and fold it over like a calzone, Del Toro instructs the actor, before gesturing to a plate with severed hands. Finger foods. This is amazing. This is amazing. That's great. Absolutely fantastic. And as it says here, in the ruins of some of Dr. Frankenstein's research, Jacob Elordi's creature examines a glass plate photo of a war corpse that is strikingly familiar. Huh. So the gallows humor never stops, even though there's a ticking clock. Each prop cadaver sits on an immense block of real ice, which is gradually melting. There's a shot coming up where we shoot through the ice, Del Toro says. The incessant laughter between him and Isaac lightens the mood. On a gloomy story about the hubris of trying to defy death rather than savouring the fleeting time we're given. What's interesting to me is that he's not trying to keep me in some sort of dark evil zone. He basically directs in jokes to me. Del Toro, who's from Mexico, delivers these bleak gags, I thought it was black humour there, in Spanish to Isaac, who was born in Guatemala. It feels like I'm making something with a familiar family member, Isaac says, speaking Spanish. Also kept them out of trouble. A lot of the jokes aren't translatable because they sound kind of awful when you're telling them in English. Yeah, well, can't have jokes anymore. So though the movie itself does not have a light-hearted tone, Del Toro's operatic approach gives it an over-the-top feeling that softens the blows. There's absurdity in the face of darkness. There's a very, very elemental trait of Latin America, Isaac says. There's a nuance about how one approaches death and darkness that has a surreality to it. Continues further. Del Toro's Frankenstein delves into an aspect sometimes overlooked by readers of Mary Shelley's Gothic classic. Her book, subtitled The Modern Prometheus, is often seen as a warning about heedless science. But Del Toro uses Shelley's tale of grim resurrection to dramatise toxic family dynamics. It's parents and children, Elordi says, fathers and sons particularly. It's a theme that Del Toro has visited before. These are the parallels between Pinocchio and Frankenstein, the filmmaker says. It's the idea of a person going from a baby to a human, being in a short span of time and being exposed to everything. Cold, warmth, violence, love, loss. And then going to his creator to say, why? Why did you put me here? Why didn't you give me the answers? What do I have to learn in my suffering? In the decades he has been refining his script, the writer-director also drew upon his Roman Catholic background. It's no accident that the table on which the monster is born rises up with his hands, with arms spread, as though on a crucifix. Del Toro also drew connections between his monster and the Book of Job, in which God tests a man's faith by heaping misery upon him. Job is saying to God, why do bad things happen to good people? And God is answering very, very biblically, who the F are you to ask me a question, Del Toro says with a laugh. So Isaac's Dr. Frankenstein is just as impatient with his creation's neediness and replicates the merciless treatment he learned as a child from his own imperious father, played by Charles Dance. So nice. I didn't know he was in this actually. He's such a good actor. He's great in everything he's in. The movie's trying to articulate that the father becomes his father to his son without realizing it, Del Toro says in turn. The monster revolts against his creator, and a clash that rips through the Frankenstein family, creates bloodshed and destruction, and leads both men, the scientist and his creation, into the dead end of a frozen wasteland. He tries to escape, doesn't he? In addition to drawing from folk tales and the Bible, Del Toro also pulled from his own life as the father of two grown daughters. There are certain movies I could not have made if I hadn't become a father. When people say, how do you react to bad reviews? I go, you get them in life with your teenage kids. That's 2 thumbs down, he says. I've tried my best. You always have your blind spots, but I think I can talk to my kids and have really, really deep conversations. They bring their troubles to me. The greatest tribute you can expect as a dad is for them to come to you and say, I have this problem, I need you. But Dr. Frankenstein and his creature are not exactly the heart-to-heart types, and the scientist's relationship with his own father is far more chaotic and destructive than anything Shelley imagined. In the Mary Shelley book, funnily enough, Victor had the sweetest stage mom of a dad. Isaac points out, he followed him around, paid for everything, was such a big part of his life, writing him letters all the time, believing in him, and he still ended up being what he was. Another father figure looming over this Frankenstein is the spectre of Boris Karloff. Elordi's creature looks nothing like the square-topped, bolt-necked monster of director James Whale's inedible Universal films from the 1930s, but Del Toro is more than just a devout fan of these movies. He's a scholar, collector, and curator. And in his Los Angeles home, which he was given the Dickensian nickname Bleak House, is practically a museum dedicated to those Gothic classics. It looks great. Looks great. So during filming in the laboratory, a large sticker featuring Karloff's monster stares down at Del Toro from the wall of the director's array of video screens. Although his Frankenstein will look very different, the director wanted a constant reminder of the late actor who first sparked his interest in the story. I devoured all of his monsters, Elordi says of Karloff. At first I thought, I'll stay away from this. I want to do my own thing. And then I asked Guillermo, should I watch the other Frankensteins? And he goes, what the F do you mean? Well, I don't want to be influenced. My friend, it's a movie. It can't effing hurt you. I went home and just pitched. What a legend. So Elordi says he hoped something rubbed off, something in his gaze, something in the way that he moves. The biggest thing was just immersing myself in the world of these creatures. So while the story centers mainly on the Doctor and his creation, which is epic, the havoc of their relationship spreads beyond Frankenstein's dueling leads. Mia Goth co-stars as Elizabeth, the fiancée of Victor's kind-hearted younger brother, who becomes a fixation for both Isaac and Elordi's characters. Elizabeth has quite an ethereal quality, Kate Hawley says, who's the costume designer. We looked at the 60s horror films because Del Toro wanted her colours to be saturated. Red and green were a big thing, because there's a lot of stuff in the film about blood and also the fear of it. Look, I mean, how has Netflix paid for this? It looks amazing. It looks really expensive. Christoph Waltz plays a character who's responsible for spilling much of the blood. His Harlander is an arms merchant who has made a fortune selling weapons to warring militaries. So that's cool. Just sort of scrolling through some of this now. There's not a lot else really here, to be fair. You can just see some of it here. It looks great. Looks brilliant. Another few images here. Look at the set design. Like how rich it is. And it's just... I'm blown away. Like I'm actually blown away. Again, some more here. And that's it. It looks great. I'm really, really, really impressed. I cannot wait for this. And again, we'll just scroll back up to that first image of Frankenstein. What do you guys think? Are you excited for this or not? Let me know down below. Bye-bye now.